We're going to start out with a hey oh. Hey oh. Yeah! Yeah! Singing under the stars, singing under the stars. That's what it's all about here. So, anyways, Sam invited me here, and he's like, you can have an open mic. It doesn't have to necessarily be about one thing or another. I could probably talk about climbs that I've done, but YouTube's there for that. So we have each other's attention. We're out here in Tennessee under the stars by these ancient rocks that have taken a lot of time to get to the state they are in now. Previously, the sand that was in those rocks was a tall mountain, but what it brought it down to where it is now are the forces of geology. And the basis of that is gravity, which is what we're all doing out here. And so this is like, I have a few minutes to talk about what's important to me. And all of us that love climbing, it's unique to us, but it's also the ultimate team sport. So I was an athletic, hyperactive kid. I'm now an hyperactive athletic adult. So you like embrace it and be with it. But I didn't know what to do. And I had all this energy. But team sports weren't exactly where I was happiest and what I was doing my best at. And we have a set of rules, time, space, all that. And then eventually there's a winner and a loser. And so I was like, I really enjoy being outdoors, seeing trees, things like that. My parents introduced me when I was young. I had a great mentor in the form of someone that took me out and wanted to share being outdoors with kids. And those moments really changed who I am and what we do. And we come back to why climbing is sort of relevant to all of us, and that why we're out here is we have these moments where we struggle with gravity. And so before we're ever born, we are born, and then gravity is, we have to master it. We have to understand how to do it so we can eventually walk and then pursue what we do as adults. And those of us that pursue sports like this, climbing, running around, playing with gravity, even working with balls and sports and things like that, you're twisting and working with the laws of physics like that, you understand and respect that. And so that basis of why we're out here, and that when we support each other, which is what we all did today, everyone had a personal best on a climb that they were able to do. The beauty of this climbing here at Stone Fort is moderate to advanced to introductory to pure nature is all wrapped one in one in that basis of what we're able to do. And that manner in which we communicate through gravity, which rules the physical and the scientific world that we now live in, and the age of the universe and where everything's moving on, is a reminder of sort of our impermanence to it. So when we look at the great mountain ranges of the world, the Himalaya, the most active, the highest mountain range on the planet, to where we are now on the western edge of the Appalachia, which previously was as tall and dramatic and glacier-clad as the Himalaya were. And you kind of think about that timelessness of it. And so when I grab a handhold out here on this rock, one, I'm reminded of this deep cosmic geologic time. So the age of the universe, the age of our planet here at 4.5 billion years, and how old this rock is. And then the people that came before us on this rock and that lived in this, the indigenous people that called this home for 20,000 years before the current change of events with that. So we're kind of all tied up in this. And my connection, sort of like why climbing is meaningful, in that when we go out, we have this struggle with gravity, but it really comes down to something elemental. You get 3 body lengths above the deck, like we would be here on top of this stage, and you think you might die. And that's like the most ancient part of our brainstem, that really, really ancient thing that controls breathing, and it controls food, and it controls just those basic needs. And we tie that in with what we have going on up front, which is like we've made airplanes, we've made TikTok, we've made energy drinks, we've made bouldering festivals, but we've all this capacity, and you interact with both of those in a meaningful way, which is sort of the magic that what I bring out of climbing, what makes it special to me. And that manner in which we communicate with each other, which is like in climbing, you got me, I've got you. We're going to be 110% on each other so we can achieve these goals of what we want to do. And that connection is a fundamental, elemental way in which we as humans need to communicate with other humans. And so as much as I love the team sports that we have, a lot of them, they're great as spectator sports, but they're not a life sport and something that we can have within that. And Aiden, Conrad, Chris, Dean here, and myself having fun at Memphis Rocks. And so this connection and my opportunity to change and bring that in through our community there at Memphis Rocks. And if we think about it, the amount of vertical space that's available in urban settings is quite a bit. And that when you have a chance to come out and try some climbing where you hold on to a hold and you go with it, you move on. Malik, who's here seen ice climbing, so check out the film Malik on YouTube, courtesy of Yeti, which is a great film on that. Anyhow, I mean, here I am. I've got your attention. I thank you for all the time that you've given to me on this, and especially our Tom Shadyac and Connie, who have been central to the success of what Memphis Rocks is, and how that model of climbing is something that nurtures the soul, embraces the heart, and develops and uplifts other people. And when we wake up in the morning, and you've done something where you, as simple as saying hello and smiling at someone, which costs us nothing, but uplifts them and makes us happier on our own stage, then there's a connection to that. So what else? I want to have your attention. Serious times here in our nation. So it doesn't matter how you see the world and going on like this, but we have to recognize that there's pain, there's loss that's going on in other people's lives, and that when we think about it, that we can have empathy for them, that in the war in Ukraine, the war in Gaza, that we have to think about them in that moment, and recognize what they're going through, and then trying on our end to bring peace about. And we can't do much, but if we think positively about that, and we think about the ways that we can impact that, and we as citizens of the United States, we have a responsibility, and we have a purpose to how we interact with the world. And we might not be able to do it, but we as climbers, when we come to it with our sense of trust, communication, and connectivity, and the unity of community, we will be one step closer to making something a little bit better. So there you have my sermon on the stage. Sam, what do you got to say? I'm not gonna, no question and answer. We're going to raffle out a little more stuff. So, and who's our next speaker? Thank you, Sam.